Welcome to another episode of the Parts Counter presented by Hot Bike, your source for personalizing your Harley-Davidson motorcycle with HD's genuine motorcycle parts and accessories. If you missed our last episode, Harley sent us their interfering audio kit powered by Rockford Fosgate. In this episode, we're going to focus on Harley's Screamin Eagle suspension. In the rear, we're going to install Screamin Eagle Öhlins remote reservoir rear suspension, which features a monotube remote reservoir coilover shock that allows you to adjust the preload, rebound, and compression. In the front, we'll install the Screamin Eagle Öhlins double cartridge fork kit, which converts the OE front suspension with high performance components from the suspension experts at Öhlins and allows preload, rebound, and compression adjustability as well. All right, John, we're back. Last time around, we did the audio. This time we're doing suspension.
Yep.
What are we gonna do today?
We're gonna do a rear shock, Screamin Eagle Öhlins collab shock made specifically for the 18 and up Softails.
Nice.
Be able to make all sorts of adjustments, fine tune the ride.
Yeah.
It should ride great afterwards.
Yeah, awesome. Well, should we get into it?
Let's do it. All right, first things first, I'm gonna take off the sissy bar, I'm gonna take off the seat. Just for my comfort, I'm gonna take off the saddlebags as well, and I'll be removing both side covers. All right, now that I've got my side covers removed, I'm gonna take off my neutral on my battery, no zapping, and I'm also gonna disconnect my main fuse. All right, since I have a Low Rider ST, it doesn't come with an external remote reservoir, it's actually installed under the seat. So we have to change our side cover and our ABS mount bracket. We're gonna get into that next. At this point, I would suggest putting a flat jack under your bike to support it because we're gonna get into removing the shock afterwards. So I'm going to start by removing this torque screw here. I'll then move on to the inside. I'm going to remove the ABS module connector. So to get to this screw a little bit easier, I'm going to pull this screw right here just so I can move all of these modules out of the way. That'll buy me some room. And then I will be removing the side cover stud as well, and we'll be keeping this to use in our replacement part. So there's one screw that's on the inside of the ABS module mount that I can't get to, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the shock right now. All right, so to remove the shock, I'm gonna start by removing the remote adjuster with this bolt right here. I will then remove this support plate, removing this bolt, and this screw. Then I can actually unbolt the shock itself. There's a pinch bolt right down here under the fender that I need to remove that frees the bolt for the rear of the shock. And then I'll remove the bolt for the front of the shock. There she goes. Root remote reservoir vertically through frame. I believe I see what we are supposed to do. All right, as a note for the Low Rider ST, you already have the correct bracket pre-installed on the bike to add a remote adjuster on the side. The only thing we need to change is our side cover. I'm gonna loosely install the rear shock. I'm gonna keep the protective film on both the adjuster and the reservoir just to protect them from getting scratched. Our hose is gonna be facing down. Alright, loosely install rear shock and swing arm. Preload adjuster hose should wrap around reservoir hose. It's currently doing that. Route preload adjuster through frame toward rear of vehicle. Alright, now we're going to install our new preload adjuster bracket. We're going to remove this wiring clip from this ABS module bracket. We're going to install this bracket. This tab goes into the bottom hole, screw in washer for the top hole, pre-Loctited. All right, we're going to torque that screw to 90 to 114 inch-pounds. All right, now I'm going to install the remote adjuster to our bracket. I'll run my cable around those into this harness clip. Use blue Loctite on these screws, and they will get torqued 90 to 114 inch-pounds. So I removed the dipstick to get a little clearance for that screw. My suggestion, take a rag or something, stuff it in there, that way you don't drop a screw down in your oil pan. All right, next we're gonna secure the hose for the reservoir with this clamp right here. And we will be torquing to 69 to 84 inch-pounds. Now I'm gonna install the top and bottom bolts as well as the pinch bolt for the bottom bolt of my shock. Reference your service manual for torque specs on that. All right, now we've got the shock installed. I have the remote adjuster installed. I'm going to reconnect my battery, reinstall my main fuse. I will reinstall the support cross bracket here. And then I will install my left side side cover. When that's done, I can install my right side side cover and my mount for my remote reservoir. All right, now we're going to install the new side cover. We will be replacing the OE screws with some longer screws, some spacers, and then our remote reservoir bracket. We're gonna put the screw through the bracket, spacer on the back, counter shaft screw to the top. We will be tightening the screws to 69 to 84 inch-pounds. Now that I have the bracket installed, I'm gonna carefully slide the remote reservoir into the bracket and install the screw at 26 inch-pounds. All right, one cool thing in the back of the instructions, there's actually a preload table for adjusting your preload based off your weight. I'm about 165. Preload is gonna be right around 10 turns. I typically like to start at the middle and adjust based off of feel, so this matches up with what I would typically do. When it comes to having my wife on the back, especially with luggage, I will add some turns of preload by feel. I want the bike to have a positive feel with both her and I on the bike, not be bottoming out, and not be too stiff that we're uncomfortable. I'm going to adjust my preload from minimum, turn counterclockwise until you feel it stop. Don't go beyond that, and then turn clockwise again until you feel the first click. There's one. From that first click, I'm going to do 10 full turns, feeling clicks. There's 2, and I will stop on the 10th click. And there's 10 right there. All right, now that I have my shock installed and adjusted for a good baseline to start with, I'm gonna throw my seat on, I'm gonna throw my bags on, I'm gonna throw my sissy bar back on, take this thing for a ride with the wife, make sure I'm happy with how everything feels.
Next time, we're gonna get into some new fork internals for the front suspension with a new cartridge kit by Harley-Davidson and Öhlins. So tune in next time, and we'll see you at the parts counter.